Welcome to Freaky Fauna Friday, where every Friday we take a little time and explore some of the freaks of nature from around the planet we cherish so deeply. So please, jump aboard and let's explore the wilds together.
Oh, wow.
Welcome back to Freaky Fauna Friday. I am the great and peaceful Mystery.
And I'm Jay.
Every time you do it, I just want to start singing the Ken song.
See, I still never seen the movie.
I've never seen the movie, but that song got so popular.
Oh, yeah. It's the #1 search on your YouTube. I seen your history.
I think the #1 search is probably
Dinosaur.
Gone Squatching.
Oh, yeah. That's probably it. It's either that or some dinosaur thing.
That's up there.
I'm sure it is.
That's up there. All right. Today's animal came as a suggestion from Patreon member Brandon.
Oh, which
Oklahoma Brandon.
Okay, Okie Brandon.
He picked a species of bigfin squid. And I'm just going to do bigfin squid as a whole.
So that's our freaky fauna is big finned squid.
Yes, big fin squid, not finned.
Oh, big fin squid.
Yes. Now, you have seen these. You've seen Megapinidae and Megapini is the names.
Okay.
Which just means big fins.
They're binomial nomenclature names?
Yes. That was so funny the other day with binomial nomenclature. And that's very different between big fin reef squid is a whole different group of animals.
Oh, well, we're not touching them today.
These are the ones that look like sci-fi aliens on the deep sea rover. Like where they have giant mantle fins and they have these extremely long, weird arms.
So it's not is it the giant squid where?
No.
Okay.
Why don't you look up a picture while I'm talking?
Okay, big fin squid.
Yeah. They're very, very odd. There's Megapini. There's several species of them. Megapini atlantica, Megapini pacifica, Tanzania, and then Megapini species B and C.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
So there's two species that are still being described right now.
These are the one. This is the one. Yeah, like you said, looks like sci-fi. Was that a Japanese submarine?
No, it was an oil rig. Is the famous video?
Oh, the oil rig. Okay.
Yeah, it was an oil rig security camera.
It looks like an alien with gangly like tentacles.
Yeah,
not even tentacles.
It looks like they have a joint in their legs.
Yeah,
which they kind of do.
Like a bend.
Yeah. So people are like, that's not a squid. Like, that's an alien. And the funny thing is, 90% of stuff that you see is like edited and that kind of stuff. And so all these videos, I'm always like, oh, that's fake. That's fake. You know, that's not an animal.
Right.
And these are the ones I try to convince people, no, that's
real.
That one's real.
And it's big fin, all one word, too.
Yes. Big fin squid.
Yeah.
They're a group of rarely seen cephalopods with distinctive morphology. These guys are what make one of the creatures you can really look at for the deep sea to really point at this being, technically it's not a shadow biosphere, which we've kind of talked about that on Cryptocorn a lot, with the term shadow biosphere, which means a separate tree of life, essentially, and the shadow of our tree of life.
Which ours is a carbon-based life form tree of life.
And they could technically be, a shadow biosphere could be two carbon-based trees.
Okay.
They started from different things. The originating species is different. They're not related.
All right.
So let's say if the theory of evolution was correct and that's the tide pools and all that stuff, it happened twice, even though it was carbon-based, they're not related.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. These guys are giants. We'll talk about that in a minute because they can be absolutely huge. They're up there with the longest cephalopods on the planet.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So they're big fin squid rarely group seen. Although the family is described only from larval forms for many, many, many years, juvenile specimens have started to come up in trawling nets. And numerous video observations of adult squid have been seen in the last decade. So
what's that mean, though? Like more sightings of them?
Basically, the technology is advancing enough, we're getting to the areas where the adults live.
Oh, okay.
With like filming and like we're able to run into them more often.
Okay.
Before this, they were just catching the larval versions and like trawl nets and that kind of stuff, where they were like, well, this is a larval squid, but we don't know what the adult looks like.
Gotcha.
Same with giant squids. There's several, and we don't know this for a fact. There are several larvae of what we believe are giant squid. We don't know they're 100% giant squid, but we believe that they are.
Okay.
But yeah, but they have juvenile specimens. They really have never had an adult specimen like in captivity. The arms and tentacles of the squid are both extremely long, estimated to be between 4 and 8 meters in length.
Which that's pretty long.
13 to 26 feet.
Yes.
Now, There are a couple videos of these with estimates putting these guys up to 40 and 45 feet long arms.
That's pretty long.
Yeah. These appendages are held in particular or perpendicular to the body, and they actually create an elbow-like structure.
Yeah, it looks like in the photos, like almost it shoots straight out sideways and then 90 degrees straight down.
Yes. Now, we're the really weird design for arms, right?
Yeah.
We have absolutely no idea how these guys eat.
Oh.
We've never seen them retracting their arms. We don't know if they're we know nothing. We know nothing about these guys besides because we just started filming the adults this last decade.
Right, yeah.
We have no adult specimens. We've never seen them eat. Like other squids, it's a lot easier to see. Like giant squids are almost identical to reef squids. Mm-hmm. They're just huge. Mm-hmm. Even colossal squids in the Arctic are absolutely massive, but their morphology is very, very, very similar to small surface squids. So we can kind of extrapolate, well, if their body is the same, they're just eating bigger things.
Speculative biology.
Speculative biology. Word often used in the book, which everybody, you should check out the book, Living UFOs, The Ocean Above Our Head. Comes out November 25th.
Authored by?
The Great and Powerful, The Great and Peaceful Mystery.
That's right.
I almost put The Great and Powerful in the book several times. It was a fight not to do it. Because I'm like, there's going to be people that buy the book that have no idea who we are.
Exactly, yeah, best not.
Like, who's this guy think he is?
He's that powerful.
Yeah. So very interesting. The arms and tentacles of the squid are both extremely long. Like I said, estimated, to be that 13 to 26, with some estimates putting them up to 45 feet in length. Once again, we're barely filming what we believe are adults.
Okay.
So there's a chance that these are 100-foot long squid.
Yeah, we just don't know yet.
Bodies are still very small, even at that size.
Not enough studies or specimens.
It's thought to be the deepest occurring squid genus. The Megapenia
Okay.
is the whole. They're the deepest dwelling squid lineage.
Bigger than deeper than the giant squids that fight the megalodons?
We're talking where these guys are filmed are way below that.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we're talking 20,000 feet under the sea.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No.
Wow, okay.
They're down there.
Yeah, I guess I didn't really put that in the perspective.
If I'm not mistaken, the deepest diving mammal is like 10 or 11,000 feet.
What is that, a fin or
it's a beaked
whale?
Yeah. A Cavalier's beaked whale, I believe.
A bowfinned whale.
A bowfinned whale. No, so yeah, these guys are really, really, really deep in the ocean. That's like 4.5 miles, 5 miles, something like that.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah. It's making it, the only known squid to inhabit what's called the Haddle Zone.
What's that? What's the Haddle Zone?
So you've heard the Twilight Zone and the Dark Zone, right?
Where the sunlight can no longer reach.
Yeah. Well, Twilight Zone is the mix.
Okay.
You're in twilight. So it's kind of like a dusk, right? You're halfway between the pitch black and, maybe a little bit of light.
Yeah.
And then there's the Dark Zone or the Midnight Zone, which is below that. Mm-hmm. Haddle is the very bottom.
Even below even that.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're talking about some of the weirdest stuff you've ever seen pulled out. The deep ocean is a misnomer in itself because there are so many steps of what deep ocean means with no light.
It's like our atmosphere above us.
It's 100%.
It almost reflects it.
It's you know what? Somebody should do a book about that. No, so the Haddle Zone is just absolutely low. So these are probably we think maybe the biggest animal down there. I don't think so. I think there are some really big things down there.
They think these bowfin squid are?
Yeah, these bigfin.
Bigfin, sorry. I said bowfin on the mind. Bigfin squid are
at least the longest.
Okay, longest I can get on board with. Because there's got to be... It's undiscovered down there.
There's some jellyfish and stuff like that.
There's got to be some giants just down there.
Absolutely massive. Deep sea gigantism and everything.
Bloops.
The bloop. No, so the Haddle Zone is just a crazy zone. Like, it's way, like blobfish and some of those guys.
Live down there.
Yeah. Actually, I think, if I remember right, our friend the bony-eared assfish is right there about the Haddle Zone level.
Yeah. A Freaky Fauna Friday member.
Mm-hmm. It has a sister group, the Jonasithius, which is another bizarre, little-known deep-sea group. Where they also have the similar body plan, or an unusual body plan, and extremely long arms.
Okay.
So they think that they split off, however long ago. So that's what a sister group is.
Okay.
But yeah, the whiplash squid is their poster child for that family group.
The whiplash squid. That's a pretty cool name.
There's a lot of cool squids. The first recording of this family was caught off of Eros in August 10th of 1883.
1883. Okay, that's quite some time ago, actually.
Yeah, like I said, they've been catching little ones of these forever.
And so I'm guessing the littler ones come up a lot higher?
Yes.
Okay.
So what they do is it's called following the light. A lot of these deep sea, the larval versions of the deep sea, like planktonic life follows that level.
Okay.
So they follow the light up. So at night they come up really close to the surface, and during the day they dive down. A lot of squids, like Humboldt squids, do that, like where they live, and during the day at 800 meters.
Is it just for eating purposes, or
They follow. So the little guys follow the light,
right?
and as you work up the food chain, yes, it's all about food.
Okay,
But not being caught by visual predators.
right, yeah. So in secret,
Yeah. So the juveniles are doing that. And then we're caught a couple times during that. They really were pretty damaged. So not a lot was really even known about them at that, besides they were a larval squid from very, very deep.
okay.
Then again in 1956, they caught a similar looking species that has never been fully identified. And that's called Megapenia species C. Because they just have a larval version of it. They've never seen the adult. They don't have any. They've seen a juvenile. They just have the larva.
Like a glass eel,
Yeah, kind of.
the giant one.
Yeah. But this is such a little, even more so, little known family group.
Gotcha. Okay.
They just have that. And then there was also C and D are both species they just have like little babies of. Species A and B have been identified. And then there's like Antarctica or Atlantica, and there is Pacifica, which they're named after the oceans they're found in.
Okay.
There was also 2 juveniles and pre-larva have developed characteristics of extremely long arms, which is really weird. Mm-hmm. So they're already getting their extremely long arms in their pre-larva and their juvenile states.
Okay.
However, they did have their large fins also. And that's what Megapenia means, big fin.
Okay.
And then these guys really, really got famous in the deep sea rover expeditions. So when we really started doing that, that's really when they started getting seen. 2001 was kind of when that was starting to happen.
Is that when that oil rig picture came out?
No,
Oh, okay.
that was the last decade and a half.
Okay. That's like the famous one.
Yeah, I'm talking about when they were actually starting to see these things.
For the,
Yeah.
like the first time really observing them.
Yeah. In 2001, they described a 20-foot long squid by the technologist Michael Versinen. Seen one in the Gulf of Mexico. They couldn't describe. Keep in mind, this is when they were first starting to go down with rovers.
Right. Yeah.
So they're starting every dive. They're seeing something they've never
new.
seen before.
Yeah. They're still doing that today, though. Like every time we go down, there's something new.
So here's what Michael has to say. My reaction was to jump out of my chair and start yelling profanities because I knew this was something really, really different.
Cool.
Keep in mind that he's a squid biologist, and it was the first time he's ever seen a member of this family, an adult member.
That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, ever.
Yeah.
And then the next one didn't come for about another 8 years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Anatomy, like we've already talked about, they're very, very, very odd. The videos look distinct, and they're very unique compared to even all previous squids. Uniquely among cephalopods, the arms and tentacles were the same length, and it looked identical, which is really weird. We really haven't seen that since the extinct Bathylmites, which is another group of cephalopod way, way long ago. So what happens with squids, they have 2 arms and 8 tentacles.
Okay.
They have 10 arms.
Right.
So normally the arms are extremely long compared to the tentacles.
Because they have a different function,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and some squids, I think there are species of squid that have 10 arms and 2 tentacles, so 12 limbs in total. Anyways, what's really odd is that they're all seem to be uniform. There doesn't seem to be 2 feeding arms.
Okay.
So they're either all tentacles or all arms, and with these guys, I think they consider them all arms.
What if they've never, I guess, not captured or found even a dead adult or nothing, right?
No. They're normally, for their squids are very soft. These guys are
Yeah.
very delicate looking.
Yeah, I, was
I
gonna
don't
say.
imagine an adult's going to make it up very well.
I was just wondering, what if it was
20,000 feet.
What if it was a cyanophore? Or
No, it's a squid.
All right.
I mean, you can see it in the videos of them flapping, their eyes move. Like,
All right, yeah.
they're very clearly a squid.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah, so like I said, they have these weird elbows. Most remarkably, the length of these elastic and tentacles, measuring up to 15 to 20 times the mantle length. They've been filmed coiling these tentacles, a trait that's rare among any similar species. So normally if you have tentacles that long,
Yeah.
you can't really do anything with them like little squids can, with the dexterous and stuff like that,
Yeah.
manipulating.
Moving them around.
These guys seem to be able to do something with their extremely long tentacles. They've seen them coiling them and like wiggling them and that kind of stuff.
I do wonder. I mean, I'd imagine they're there to like ensnare things.
That's what a big thought is when I have that here for feeding behavior. So we can jump ahead to that. But I mean, I'll just finish with the weird biology. Like I said, some people estimate them up to 40 to 45 feet in length. There is one video, like I said, most biologists will agree 40 foot's probably the limit for this species, around there somewhere, a couple, give or take a couple feet either direction. There is one video that has no frame of reference, which is very hard in these deep sea videos. Now they do lasers. So what this is, the lasers there's 2 lasers in the water, and they're always a foot apart. So the thing is, with these lasers, these long distance lasers, is that if the animal's right up against the sub, they're still a foot apart.
Yep.
And if the animal's 100 feet away, they're still a foot apart.
Yep.
So they don't beam out.
Yeah, it's smart.
So that's how we get some really good measurements on like 6-scale sharks and Greenland sharks and that kind of stuff.
Accurate measurements, yeah.
It's because you can do that and look at the picture then later and kind of give a really good estimate. Well, that's a 26-foot long shark. So there's one of these videos that may have these guys up to like 50 or 60 foot long.
Dang.
But once again, their bodies are very small. Like a 60-foot squid, the body's probably 6 foot long.
Well, it's like when people, say they saw a spider in their basement, and it was a whole 6 inches across. That way
Foot across. I've heard foot across.
Foot across, something like that. But really, the body of it, it's like not even the size of a penny, and the legs are just so long. They take that whole thing into account.
So feeding behavior, little is known about these guys. Scientists have speculated the bigfin squid drag their arms and tentacles along the seafloor, grabbing edible organisms off the floor. So you mentioned cyanophores earlier. There are several species of cyanophores that do the same thing. Where they actually have like little anchors on these tentacles.
See?
And they drag them. That's one thought, though. So that's what I was saying that you were,
But it could be, what's that? Not convergent evolution.
Yeah, convergent evolution.
Is it? Okay,
yeah.
Picking up the same feeding
basically,
behaviors.
they're doing a trawl net on the bottom. Of, they're looking for things that are hiding on the ground.
And it makes sense with that body plan. I mean,
just drag. The big fins are acting like sails.
Yeah.
So the cyanophore that does it has like a balloon head with these long feeding tentacles that drag anchors.
Yeah.
So that's what they kind of do is they use this balloon to kind of drag their body, so they're not using energy to do it.
Right, yeah, let the water do it.
Alternatively, there is a trapping technique they think they may be using, waiting passively for animals, everything from zooplankton all the way up to fish, to bump into their arms and then entangling them more like a jellyfish.
Yeah.
Where they're not stinging, but they're grabbing. And why we kind of think this is how dexterous the tentacles still are, even in the midsections.
Okay.
So that where you'd expect for the squid just to have grabbing teeth at the bottom, if it was just dragging on the bottom, these guys have been witnessed in the middle of their tentacles and at the top of their tentacles to be able to coil and curl their tentacles. So that points that there's maybe the whole tentacles being used.
Right, yeah. Here,
So
I'm going to give my speculative guess.
I have one more, but go ahead.
Go ahead. Okay, we'll finish her up, and then I'll give mine.
So the diet's completely unknown. However, from the juveniles and stuff like that, and other cephalopods in the area, crustaceans, jellyfish, and cephalopods are the biggest diet of these guys. There's not many fish down there. There's a couple haddlefish, but not really a lot.
Right.
There is a thought that they use these extremely long tentacles to drift into jellyfish's extremely long tentacles down there. So they're using it more as a drag net to catch other nets.
Yeah, to catch jellyfish.
Yeah.
Eat on them.
Yeah, and pull them in. But what's your thought?
Well, my thought was is stringing long and fragile looking they are. I don't think they are, and like you said, there's not much fish down there anyways. I don't think they are catching big fish, anything really whatsoever. But my guess is that they're using their tentacles to catch like the really small stuff, like plankton, the real small life. And maybe when it attaches to their tentacles, they can somehow absorb it straight through their tentacles and pulls the nutrients straight up to their body.
I could see something like a track being in there.
Yeah.
I can see that.
And maybe
we really don't know, so that's a good.
Maybe that coiling is like them digesting, pushing it up.
Yeah.
That's my guess because they're fragile looking. I don't think they're using their tentacles to grab or pull
and we
things
don't know
up to
how
them.
fragile they are.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's just my speculative.
But they
take.
they look fragile from just looking.
Sure do.
Yeah.
Yes, they look see through.
But yeah, they're becoming more and more viewed over time. That's pretty much all we got for them. They've been viewed in every continent and every ocean.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So once you get to that zone where they're found, they're kind of there.
They're down there. They're at the limit.
Cephalopods are an amazing group, from high intelligence to non-high intelligence.
Oh, okay.
They've been around for an extremely long time, from the cone squids and that kind of stuff, and they've done very well. So for the deep ocean, I do believe, like giant colossal squids, I do think there's even a bigger species out there, like whatever you want to call kraken.
Yeah, I don't want to ever run into that.
And we talked about the giant Pacific octopus. The Puget Sound giant octopus.
Puget Sound, yep.
And it seemed friendly. It plays with fishermen. Like it could just grab people, but it doesn't seem to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been the bigfin squid, or the megapenia.
Wow, pretty awesome.
Which just means big fin.
Yeah.
So it's just saying big fin, big fin.
There you go. Yeah.
No, really cool. Thank you, Brandon. These guys are really neat. There's just not a lot, like a ton on them yet.
Well,
They are in the deepest part of the ocean.
they're very hard to find, but there's more and more coming out. Maybe in a few years we'll do a follow-up.
It'd be really cool if like they shoot like lightning bolts out of those tentacles.
That'd be pretty sweet.
There are all kinds of animals that produce electricity.
Yeah.
And they have organs on their tentacles. Nobody knows what they're doing. Like, we don't know if they're like suction cups, but if you look at their tentacles,
Yeah.
they look like they have like beads on them.
They're digestion pouches.
That could be.
It
could be muscle groups. They
what
could
is that
be
thing in the
enzyme production?
What's the thing in the chicken where they swallow the stone? They're
gizzard.
Yeah, it's their gizzards.
It could be electrical organs. It could be some kind of light organs. As far as I know, we really haven't witnessed any bioluminescent activities in these guys. And they're even kind of below that zone.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
It is nuts.
These are guys. So you see like the pictures, the videos of like deep sea organisms with the crazy bioluminescence.
Yeah.
These guys are thousands and thousands of feet below those guys.
That's crazy.
Like not a lot of fish. There's really few fish. I think blobfish end up in the Hattle zone. Snailfish, which are cousins of blobfish.
I mean,
It's really the invertebrates territory.
The world is a gigantic place that we just haven't fully even come close to scratching the surface of discovering everything on it.
And these guys may be, so the Hattle zone has areas that are completely, so there's this misnomer. I know we're going over, I just like talking about deep sea because it's really weird. So I heard recently a guy, and you were there, and I was like, that's wrong. And you're like, what's wrong? I'm like, well, he said that all of Earth's biological processes come from the sun.
Right, yeah.
And that's not true. And now it was a thought, and that was taught forever and ever and ever because we didn't know. We now know deep sea, like Hattle zone environments actually have no connection with the sun. Not even like whale falls and that kind of random weird stuff. Like,
Yeah.
So a lot of the midnight zone has it looks like snow, and it's biosfall. It's biosnow is what they call it. So it's literally biological matter, whether it's poop or dead fish. It doesn't matter.
Whatever it is, yeah.
Coming down from so that's actually coming from the sun. The long way around. There are whole zones down here in the Hattle zone that are completely cut off from any nutrients from the sun. Mm-hmm. So they get all their nutrients from sulfuric and hydrochloric vents, from deep sea volcanoes and that kind of stuff. So that means that the sun technically could go out, and these organisms in these groups would be still there. They wouldn't.
Right, yeah.
The oceans would freeze on top.
They wouldn't notice probably
and
anything.
their hydrothermal vents will keep their areas unfrozen.
Yeah. Life carries on just as it was before.
Ironclad snails and all kinds of the crazies.
All the other freaky fauna Friday.
Once you get above or below about 10,000 feet, every one of them is a freaky fauna.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because it's just, the pressure is just insane.
That's the shadow biosphere.
You imagine just exploding from the pressure, like bringing up.
I guess.
Well, keep in mind, these guys are like 8 or 9 times, or not, okay, so I think their deepest subs are like 8,000 feet.
Yeah.
So these are 2.5 times deeper.
Deeper than that. That's crazy.
So if it could crush a nuclear submarine.
The ocean's just so gigantic. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I've been the great and peaceful mystery.
And I've been Jay.
And we'll catch you next week, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Freaky Fauna Friday. If you want to help the podcast grow, remember to share and give it a 5-star review.